Hello, my name is Dwight Gillespie, and this is the Change Your Life podcast. And if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification button. By all means, share this with your friends, comment, and all that good stuff. Today on Change Your Life, what we do is we try to give you practical information to help you live a better life, to stop living a mediocre life and making those decisions that just lead you down to a path of ruin. We have this book up here. This is my book right here, which was price tags, which you can get at currently at Amazon.com, right? But this is Andy Frisella's, and I put this here just because we're gonna promote this a bit. This is a program that I'm going to be starting on November 28th, and it's called 75 Hard, and it's really just a way to kind of transform your life. And the reason, and you can follow this on TikTok as well, but that's not what we're really going to talk about today. If you follow this channel, you know that I'm what they call fat phobic, and I am. I am not a body shaming person at all. I don't believe in making fun of people for the way they look. However, I do not believe in enabling people to live a poor life. I do not believe in enabling people to take drugs or to hurt themselves in any way, shape, or form. And I feel that that's being done through this whole fat shaming bullshit. Well, crap, right? We try to be nice here. I have another channel that's called Trash TV Review, which really is kind of like Trash TV Review. And on that, I am free to speak the way I want to speak. But here I try to keep it clean because I want to really attract people over here of all ages, all types of people, race, creed, color, age. It doesn't matter. Religious affiliation, sexual preferences. None of that stuff matters to me anyway. And leading a better life that we all make. A lot of the poor decisions that we make are very universal when it comes to really screwing up your life, right? And there are a couple of them that come to mind. But one of the things that we're going to talk about today, it's enabling, right? And what that means, and what is enabling, right? Enabling is when we say that it's okay. We not necessarily encourage people to have bad habits, but we allow it to happen. And one of the main ways that people talk about that in our society today is through drug use, right? The parent who continually bails their child out of jail and pays their fines and gets their lawyers and, provides them with money, even though they're going out every day and they refuse to get a job. They refuse to clean their room even, they're 28 years old and living at home and doing drugs and playing video games all day and smoking pot. And you enable that behavior. Yeah, Walter's like, yeah, easy now, easy. But he's working here. I know Walter works. But that whole thing that allows that, and it's not just enabling your children either. A lot of people do it with the choices they make in their relationships as well, And again, we do on Trash TV Review. We talk about, what are we doing here? What the 75 Hard. We do it on Trash TV Review as well, where we show especially for whatever reason, women who enable these horrible men to be horrible men. I know he cheated on me a bunch of times, but he says that he's been good, for the last 3 months. I don't think he's cheated, but you've been together for 12 years, and they sit home and again, smoking pot, watching video games and having sex with her sister. And, you mean that was wrong? I shouldn't have done that, right? George Costanza, right? You mean, you shouldn't have sex with the cleaning lady on the desk at work? Yeah. These things are hard, but again, it's not just about drugs, and that's not just what I want to talk about. And it's no secret, right? I weighed almost 300 pounds at one point, and I started losing weight, and I did this, and people say, fat shaming, and it's so ridiculous to me. It's not fat shaming. It's not shaming, right? I read this review. Now, I started following this program by Susan Pierce Thompson. I talk about this a lot. It's called Bright Line Eating. And I started following this program. Susan Pierce Thompson talks like me. She's a recovering addict. She talks about that. She talks about addiction to food, which I can fall in line with, right? And I recently went to buy the book for my friend on Amazon, and I saw this. There was like this huge, long review of this book of this woman who hated Susan Pierce Thompson. She called it pseudoscience and all this other stuff. And basically, she went off and said that this isn't valid because she has a friend who lost a bunch of weight and kept it off on Weight Watchers, I think it was, and another one on Jenny Craig, maybe, whatever it was. And she says, and therefore that this is bullshit, right? That this is ridiculous. And I said, this woman is enabling herself into an early grave. And granted, and I believe this, look, every diet really works. Weight Watchers works, Jenny Craig works, Atkins works. They all work, right? And they're all good diets, but there's a caveat to this, right? There's a thing that you have to do, and that is it's not a diet. It's like there's no end goal in a diet, right? And one of the things like Susan Pierce Thompson talks about is I'm not looking to get to a certain weight. I'm looking to have a healthy body. It's got nothing to do with my weight. If I get to a particular weight and that's it, that's fine. If that's where my healthy presence is, right? I always tell people when you talk about fat shaming and all this stuff that you sound like you're under 40. You sound like you haven't had any knee problems. You haven't had any back problems. You haven't had any hypertension problems. You haven't had, all of these things that come, diabetes, all of these things, these wonderful things that come later in life as a result of too much weight, right? So people enable. They enable. They say, oh, what did she used the term in there? And oh God, what was it again? About the demonizing food, that you demonize food. You demonize food. Does that mean like people are like demonizing fentanyl when they say you shouldn't do fentanyl? When somebody can show me on the Serengeti a lion boiling pasta or baking some bread, I'll believe that I need to consume those kind of carbs. But until that point, I don't feel a necessity to do that. I had a friend tell me, because I embarked on this, right, to lose this weight. And I am convinced I'm addicted to these things. I'm addicted to sugar. I'm addicted to flour. And once I start, I just can't stop, right? And anything outside of that, when I make excuses for that, I'm enabling myself. And when I tell other people it's okay, I'm enabling them. And it's easy to enable people because a lot of times we do it because we're jealous inside ourselves. We don't want people to be successful with this because we're not successful ourselves. See, I encourage people today to do better in their lives. I don't care if they're doing better than me. God bless them. I want to use that as a springboard for myself. And Stephen Covey talks about it. He talks about the mentality of plenty, right? There's plenty to go around. And so many times we see people who are successful in a given thing, and we act like it's that's limited. Like only so many people are allowed to lose weight, and if you're doing it really well, I'm not going to be able to do this. Like you're taking it away from me somehow. So we enable them. Come on, you can have a little. Yeah. And we enable this behavior, and it's so bad. And when people talk, you're fat phobic, I say, you're damn right I am. You're damn right. Because I was killing myself. I'm heroin phobic too, by the way. I'm a recovering heroin addict. I loved heroin. I loved it. I'll be honest with you, right? Nothing better on a cloudy day. Unfortunately, there are some side effects that I just didn't want to deal with anymore. And that's what made it a bad thing, right? So I love food. I love it. I love pasta. I haven't had pasta in over a year now. And the reason is because once I start eating it, I can't stop. And people talk about moderation. They talk about discipline. That's all well and good. And these same people are the people who tell me that diets don't work. I've been on every diet, and every time I diet, I wind up gaining back all the weight and then some. Why? If you see, people don't want to be called an addict either, right? People want to go to the doctor and get a pill for something. That's another part of enabling as well. The doctor enables you too, right? Instead of doing the hard work, because nothing in life comes without hard work. Right? In the program that I'm in, there's a saying. It says that we want the benefits of hard work without putting in the labor. And that's the story of my life. And that's what has led me down all of these things, this enabling that goes on in my life for my own self. I want that instant gratification. Give me a pill. Let me lose the weight with that, right? Oh, look at this guy. I was getting my groceries because I have to shop. I cook just about every single night. And I'm in the grocery store shopping the other day, and I see this thing that there's this miracle bread you can lose. It was either 60 pounds in 30 days or 30 pounds in 60 days by eating this bread and doing nothing else. I'm like, yeah, where do I sign up? If you tell me that there was a pill, I've done it all. I've taken the keto pills without doing the keto diet, which really, basically just makes the people who sell keto pills wealthy. Nothing has come to me without the hard work. And once I started putting the work into all this, and that's what the 75 Hard is about, right? And again, Andy Frisella, you can check out his podcast. You can check out his app. There's an app for 75 Hard. You can do this. The age doesn't matter. But I'm telling you right now, if you come at people with that, oh, you're being fat phobic, you're being this, you're body shaming. I don't body shame anybody. But I got to tell you something, losing weight, I feel better. I feel better because I move easier now, right? I can walk longer. I love to hike. It's one of the things I do. I just got back. There's a place I go to in California that I just love. It's in Encinitas, and I hike all around there. I walk the streets like, it's a great place. I love walking the beach and everything. And I couldn't do that at that weight. My knees were so bad. My hips were bad. Like my breathing, everything was labored. So you're 35, you're telling me, oh, I'm healthy at any weight. Well, that's just bullshit. You're deluding yourselves, right? And it's the same. Enabling for that is the same as enabling somebody and saying alcohol isn't going to destroy your liver, right? Not everybody who drinks has a bad liver. Absolutely true. But everybody who drinks excessively does, right? Not everybody who eats carbs has a problem with weight, right? But everybody who has a weight problem has a problem with carbs. You see how that works? So it's not about shaming people. It's not about making you feel bad. It's about saying, enough, you're killing yourself. And I don't know why people are okay with this. Why we say this is okay, that we're going to let you slide on this because it's food. I mean, my only thing that I can really come to terms with on that is why alcohol is bad and why drugs are bad is because food is something we became addicted to as babies. I was addicted to food before I knew what hit. I was raised this way. This was the food I was raised on. My mother's Italian. She was Italian food. That's all we had. We had pasta. We had cheese. I mean, it was bread. Like these were all the staples of our diet growing up. And I had a very quick metabolism as a kid. This didn't start affecting me until I was in my 30s. And then leading a sedentary life or semi-sedentary anyway, it was all bad. And it all went downhill from there. But to sit there and say, oh, I'm healthy at any size, it's just ridiculous. That's a fantasy, And the idea that this started as a child and that there's a lot of reconditioning that I had to do. And I've had friends in recovery, which surprised me, that they look at food differently than drugs. I say, how can you? I had a dear friend of mine. So I said, I can't go, especially when I started, right? When I started eating well. Because again, I'm not on a diet. I have changed the way that I eat. It's not a diet, because a diet tells me that once I get to a certain weight, I'll eat whatever I want again. And that's why you gain back all that weight. This is a lifestyle change. This is not a momentary thing. I had a friend, I talked about Atkins. I remember personally losing 35 pounds on Atkins. And then, that's it. As soon as I started eating carbs again, it all came back. Well, no no did it really? Wow. I thought everything was going to change and I could eat whatever I wanted after that. Like, how ridiculous is that thinking? This is a change of lifestyle for me. This isn't something that's momentary. I know that I can't, it's like when you work out, there are certain things, like I'm in a recovery program, right? I've been clean for 10 years, 2 months, and 16 days. All right. I haven't used drugs in that amount of time. And I can't say, well, I did my recovery 2 years ago, so I don't have to do it now. I keep current with that. And it's the same with working out. It's the same exercising, eating right, all of these things. If you want to maintain what you have to do it on a regular basis. I do the same thing with my mind. I work out my mind every day, believe it or not, right? This is after a mind workout, yeah. And I do that by reading. I don't have a TV. I got rid of my television because it just was rotting my mind. It's horrible. But that's me. I'm not telling you to go to extremes like that, but anyway, not a bad idea. My father used to call it the idiot box, and we didn't have a TV until we weren't allowed to watch TV regularly until I think I was 11 years old when we had a TV that we could all watch. And even then, my father required 2 hours of, because my father was nuts, by the way, just to let you know. It was 2 hours of PBS we had to watch, and not like Sesame Street or anything like that either. Like we had to watch documentaries for 2 hours a week in order to watch other stuff. We also had book reports due to my father on Friday nights. And he said, you don't have to do the book report, but you don't have to eat either. So, that was my dad. God bless him. And he killed himself. Anyway, I'm sure there's no correlation. But my father was enabled. My mother enabled my father, with the gambling. My father was a compulsive gambler and not a very good one. Oh, Barb, I got to go bet on the horse. He winked at me. I'm sure he's going to win, So you take the mortgage money and you bet it. Anyway, I digress. So this is what it's about. And this idea that you give people a pass on everything or they'll outgrow it or whatever, they're not. They're not. It's time, at some point, it's time to get off your ass, get a job and start producing. And when we continually let people, and I talk to parents who are shocked, they wanted to be best friends with their kids growing up. And then when the kid is 26 and still living at home and, like I said, smoking pot and, having children out of wedlock and all this stuff. I don't know how this happened. We were such good friends when he was 9. Well, that's why, and my son used to say, it used to bother my son so much. Yeah. I remember the first time my son said to me, "I'm not going to be your friend." I said, "I don't care. I got enough friends. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm your father." And I would tell him, "What's my job?" And he would look at it, he'd shrug his little shoulders. You got to raise a good man. I said, "That's right. And if I have to beat your skinny little do it, I will." I'm kidding. I didn't, Anyway, people, oh my God, I knew he was it'll be one more reason for you to tune out and say, "I can enable now." Yeah. I can eat whatever I want. The guy's beat his kid. And anyway, listen, you want to stop living a mediocre life. And this is what we talk about on this channel all the time, man, is to stop living that mediocre life. I have a 5-year plan. My 5-year plan includes moving out to Encinitas, California in the next 5 years. And this is what I want to do. I love it out there. It's where I find my peace. It's where I find my center. It's a great place. And in order to do that, I have certain things that I have to do. I have goals. Right? And I don't delude myself into believing that this is just going to happen because I want it to, right? That somehow it's going to come about. It doesn't work that way. I have a goal. I have a series of things that I know I have to do in order to attain that goal. I work on them and I'll achieve it, right? And part of that is taking care of myself, is taking care of the things around me, right? And surrounding myself with good people as well. And we've talked about that too. How do we negative people out of your life and get rid of those spiritual vampires, the people that cling on you and they just bring their cloud with them and they're like, "Oh no." Anyway, so that's it. That's today's podcast. It's stop enabling yourself, stop enabling your loved ones, stop enabling everyone around you. Don't accept bad behavior. Make people earn your respect and make them keep it too. It's an ongoing process. My name is Dwight Gillespie. This is Change Your Life Podcast. I thank you for tuning in. Please, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and just hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification button. Go ahead and comment. Tell me what I am. I love those. And by all means, share it with your friends. Have a great week. My name is Dwight. Thank you for tuning in.